Yeah, and welcome to the news report with me, Ndanji Duncan Simonza, today on the 11th of February 2021. And I hope and pray that you're keeping safe and that you're following the health guidelines that have been put in place by the authorities. Make sure to wash your hands frequently with soap or use a hand sanitizer. Keep 1 meter or 1.5 meter away from the next person in order to protect yourself and the person next to you. And also make sure that you carry and wear a face mask whenever you are in public. Interesting stories coming up next. Now, out of the 6,500 students who were tested for COVID-19, about 50 students have tested positive countrywide. Now, the highest has been Southern Province. Now, the big question, of course, is how many schools were screened or how many schools were tested? Because other schools, we have particular schools which have got 5,000 students at just one school. So when you talk about 6,500, is that one school or two schools or three schools? How many schools and which area? So here you can look at there's a huge bank that actually needs to be addressed. And if you look at it from a different perspective, it gives you like there's a size that is not yet screened that actually they don't even know whether they have COVID or they don't. Therefore putting other learners at risk. Not only learners, because some they go home, some they are in boarding school. So the risk is big. So there is need to actually look at this particular issue in a more accurate way and in order to see the way forward. Well, of course, the Minister of Health, Dr. Jonas Chanda, has stated in his press briefing to say that those students who are in boarding schools that have got COVID-19 should remain in self-isolation. And those that have been in contact with these particular individuals should be quarantined pending testing in order to reduce the spread of COVID-19. But of course, not every learner is in boarding school. Not every student is boarding school. We have those who are actually doing day school. They have to go back home and come back to school. But the minister has said in his statement to say that those that are in day school should make sure that they stay home once tested positive for COVID-19. And those who are in contact should be traced with immediate effect in order to reduce the spread of COVID-19. Now, of course, Zambia, as it stands, has recorded in the last 24 to 72 hours, recorded about 963 new cases out of the 6,747 tests which were conducted, and the highest being Lusaka. Now, I understand why we might say Lusaka being the highest, because if you look at the population of Lusaka, you might say, yes, the chances of people spreading the virus is even high, but that should not be the reason why we should be reluctant. We have to be cautious. We need to follow the health guidelines to protect our neighbors and ourselves from this deadly virus. Now, of course, there's an issue now of what is the number of COVID cases in Zambia? Of course, the number of COVID cases in Zambia stands at 65,563 countrywide. Now, of course, this does not include those who have not tested. So they have those people who have not tested. And of course, if you feel you have symptoms, make sure you get tested. Or if you don't have symptoms, you are just feeling unwell, make sure you go to you call the toll-free line so that they can come to you and do provide that testing that is necessary for you in order to know your status, whether you have the virus or you don't, to protect yourself and your family. When we come back, I'm going to have an interview with a teacher who actually did make mention that he needs to remain anonymously due to certain issues. Of course, I'm going to have a conversation with him when we come back after the break. We'll be right back.
I need to secure my business. I need to make investment. How do I do it?
My son is getting older. He will be in secondary school soon. How do I make sure I have enough money for his school fees?
I need to build a house for my children. How do I do it?
The Mpile Unit Trust, managed by African Life Financial Services, an investment product tailored to help you meet your financial goals. We offer different investment vehicles under the Unit Trust to diversify your income and achieve growth on your money. Your future begins by making a decision to invest with us. Fund managers with a track record of over 20 years, trustworthy, secure and reliable. For further information on different investment vehicles, call us on 211-254841. Alternatively, you may send an email to mpile@afrilife.co.zm. We are located at 74 Independence Avenue, Mpile Office Park.
Are you a rising entrepreneur? Have you developed an idea, service, or product that is ready to launch? Are you struggling to gain the investment needed to take off? Jacaranda Hub, in collaboration with AfriLabs and GoDo Hub of Nigeria, have just the answers for you. Apply now to join the Mosatunya Pitch Investor Readiness and Financing Program to gain the traction and resources needed to launch your product or service. Come, let's get together and help you hit the ground running. Our vision is to create a community that provides training, mentorship, funding, and visibility to over 100 Zambian startups over a 24-month period. Develop a network with over 200 mentors from Zambia, Nigeria, and other countries. Provide access to local and global investors in order to grow their appetite for Zambia as an investment destination. Are you ready to raise your business to the next level? Apply now by clicking on the link in the description. Jacaranda Hub. Engage, innovate, inspire.
Welcome back to the news desk with me, Danji Duncan Simmons. Now, I did make mention earlier that I'm going to have a teacher, of course, is going to remain anonymous at this particular point. But of course, we just want to understand what is really happening on the ground, especially on issues to do with what has been happening now that we have learners who are getting the virus. But what is really happening, and what's the viewpoint of teachers in regard to this particular story? Welcome to the program.
Yes, thank you. Welcome. Thank you.
Okay. At this particular time, let me refer to you as Mr. X.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so now we have a situation now. You have actually read the article now, which is talking about the learners who have been tested, who were screened but been tested now for COVID-19, the 50 pupils. Yes. Tell us a bit about what is happening on the ground, on the school environment.
On the school environment, I think the compliance is somehow very positive, especially the teachers are complying to the measures that were put in place according to the ministry, and the teachers are actually trying by all means to ensure that the pupils are actually complying. But maybe there are just those weaknesses amongst the pupils when they are amongst themselves. But according to how the teachers are trying, and the management are actually putting their level best to ensure that actually pupils comply to the measure. So for those that test is positive, I think I can make a statement on that the Ministry of Health will actually guide on what really transpired and so on, or maybe the management of those schools. But on the schools where I'm coming from, like the district where I am, I think there is very good compliance amongst the learners and the teachers.
But just to give us a round understanding of the situation, is there a regular testing checkup for learners as they come for lessons, or is just something that is not considered at this particular moment?
Yeah, they're actually checkups. They're actually checking them when they're entering the schools and actually even after they knock off.
But does it now raise fear, not only in the learners, but also in the teacher, that now we are seeing numbers of students having COVID-19? How are you feeling as a teacher, being that you usually get in front of the learners almost on a daily basis?
That is actually giving me a bit more confidence to actually comply, so I can actually is happening, because according to those rates, the numbers that we saw, that is giving us, in other provinces, giving us the perception to actually even comply more so that we don't get the virus.
Okay, wonderful. What about the parents? Let's just talk about the parents. Are you receiving complaints from the parents, maybe coming to the schools in regards to what they are hearing, either on other media platform or social media on regard to the now recent news of learners having COVID?
No, it's, I mean, the rural setup was different from the urban setup. So for here, I think the parents are not actually even showing up in that regard.
Okay, thank you very much for coming through to the program.
Oh, okay, thank you very much, host.
All right. Well, that was a teacher who said that he needs to remain anonymous. Well, we know why he said that, but the fundamental fact is that there is a big concern. I think, as I earlier mentioned, to say that the number is still small because there are so many students who are in school who might not be screened. Because if I look at 6,500, I'm looking at just 2 schools, or 1 school in particular. I've seen a school having that population. So when you say countrywide, there has been that screening aspect, and you'll find 50 students having the virus, then it begs the question to say that there might be even many others who actually have the virus. Well, we leave it to the authority to make sure that we are safe, but not only the authority, but also you as an individual. You have a role to play. Make sure when your child leaves the home, make sure you advise them that they follow the health guidelines, moving about from home to school. And if they're in boarding school, make sure that the settlement, I was particularly in a boarding when I was doing my schooling, but I know how it is. But you should advise them to say that they need to follow the health guidelines in as much as the environment might not be conducive to do that. Well, shifting to another story, of course, the Minister of Water and Development is very saddened with what is happening in Kafulafuta Dam. Of course, if you did not follow this story, there has been a bit of the general public stealing government material which is meant for development. Now, it does beg a question to us citizens, whether we need to do self-introspect, because you as a taxpayer, you need to understand that when you steal public materials, you're not stealing it from government, you're stealing it from yourself. The development that is supposed to bring about good living in your community, it's a setback. And I believe that as investigation is underway, those people will be brought to book and the materials will be retrieved so that development can continue. But if you are a person, of course, who is in this category, please do understand that the development that is being brought into your area is for your best interest and as well as your community member. Well, we're going to monitor ZNBC in regards to this particular story. We'll be right back.
The project is almost complete. As it stands at 85%, the Kafulafuta Dam project in Masaiti is meant to provide water to over 1 million people in Ndola, Luansha, Masaiti and Mpongwe. However, vandals are frustrating the project.
See now what the people are doing. That is an air bath on the left. But what the people have done now, they are to break on the right. They're to break so that they can just take that where the iron sheets, which secured the area. Most of them have been stolen. They are gone.
Water Development and Sanitation Minister Raphael Nakachinda has toured the construction site and is concerned about vandalism.
Even before the infrastructure is completed, vandalism has already started to take place. I think that's very sad. That kind of mentality must be condemned with the contempt that it deserves. Law enforcers to also make sure that such, fellows, when they are caught, make sure that the law takes its course.
Welcome back. So quite a shocker, and I think moving forward we need to protect our public materials as well as be part and parcel to the development of this country because it's in our best interest. Moving on to the other story, which is actually making a lot of talk both on social media as well as media platform. Now, of course, if you know Binwell Mwape, popularly known as Kanabesa, I think looking at the fact that he's well known on social media because he does a lot of commercials. Mr. Binwell is a 58-year-old man who actually was alleged to have defiled a 12-year-old girl. Now, of course, this is pending investigation, and what I can say about this particular story is that it's very shocking to see somebody that a lot of people look up to find themselves in a situation where they defile a person as young as 12. But it leaves a lot of question. What really happened? What was the root cause of him doing what he did? But it has brought in a lot of heartbreak in the public, because personally I was a fan of him, and I was a fan, but I used to look up to him. He used to make me laugh, and that was amazing. But in a situation like this, we cannot relate ourselves to character like that. That character has to not. We don't need to embrace such characters. But well, we're going to leave it to the police to do their investigation so that we can hear what follows. We're going to follow this story keenly and understanding its nature. We're going to monitor ZNBC to actually look at some of the insight on this particular story. We'll be right back.
Media gone awash with debate on comedian Binwell Mwape, known by his followers as Kanabesa. However, this time it is for the wrong reasons. Reports of his arrest for alleged defilement of a 12-year-old girl have not gone down well, especially on the Facebook community. But also, the National Arts Council and other artists are disappointed with this report.
Young people look up to them, and they should be trusted, and they should be able to help young people without any kind of negative impact on the young people. So it is, whatever the outcome, if it is proven indeed, we are disappointed, and we wish it to be a lesson to others not to engage in such things. And generally speaking, artists have been at the forefront of championing some of these, ending GBV, ending rape and other abuses.
In the first place, it's disappointing if the reports are true, because as entertainers, we are role models and we are educators.
The arrest of the actor has been confirmed by the Central Province Police Commissioner, Chola Katanga, in a telephone interview. Mr. Katanga has told ZNBC News that the suspect remains in police custody.
He was arrested, charged, and will appear in court. He remains in custody, Stamba Police Station.
Mwape, whose comedy videos are mostly found on social media platforms, is expected to appear in court soon.
Welcome back. So that was the video that covered that particular story. Now, when you are in public eye and you have a lot of following, it's important that you become an exemplary person. You show example to say that this is how you set your life. But in a situation where you have a lot of following and the only thing you can care about is doing what pleases you without caring about your followers, it becomes a problem. So Mr. Kanabesa, it has been seen that quite all right, your character is not in the right or code for you to do that, knowing for the fact that you did inspire a lot of people in your work. Well, shifting to another story, we cannot stick on Kanabesa's story. Of course, there are other pending stories that we need to look at. And this story has to do with the reducing of the study years at the University of Zambia School of Medicine, of course. So if you have not heard, well, now you know. UNZA have actually reduced the studying years for students who are pursuing a bachelor's degree in medicine from 7 years to 6 years. And also people that are actually studying medicine programs, for example, nursing and sciences have been reduced to 4 years, unlike the 5 years which was there. But again, this story, just like many other stories, it does leave a lot of questions. Now in this country, we have a healthy system problem where we have health workers sometimes rude in our hospitals. And patients do complain to say, why are they rude? Is it because of lack of proper training? But the question should remain, now that the years have been reduced, how now do they cover up that year and the modules and the learning materials which were provided for that particular year to be covered in those in the 6 year proposed by the UNZA administration? Now, it has raised a huge concern to not only the stakeholders who are bringing about their insight, but also myself, because I'm asking to say that, okay, quite right, it might be a good move, graduating early. But what are we doing? Are we backing doctors who can actually work and deliver good services to our people? Already we have been complaining about our doctors and their ethics. But again, we have good doctors, not everybody. Others are well-trained and they're able to deliver. But we need to invest more in our health sector, meaning that also people who are pursuing critical courses like medicine should also be invested in hugely in order to advance our health sector. Well, that story has its own pros and cons. Well, you have heard it. That's what is happening at the University of Zambia. We hope that other schools might follow the route. We don't know, but we'll see what would happen. One other story in particular is that ZESCO last week declared that there will be no road shedding in this country. I don't know which area you are in at this particular hour, but if you're experiencing road shedding, well, ZESCO did say last week that road shedding has come to an end. Places I know of like IBEX yesterday did not have power at that particular hour, as well as PHI, which now leaves us a question to say, when you make such statement, are you consistent with the statement that you make as an institution? Because you also have an obligation to put in confidence in your customers as they use your services. So ZESCO, we hope that you will keep your end of the bargain by making sure that road shedding comes to an end, because it does contribute hugely to negatively, and it does contribute hugely when power is there to the SMEs who are doing various business which require energy. On the negative part, if there's power cuts, our economy is also suffering. So we applaud government that is on the good work by ZESCO. We hope that it will be done in that accord. Well, interested enough, of course, on the job well done. Of course, also Lusaka Specialized Hospital is at 100% completion, and of course, this is said to be commissioned soon. And commissioning of this hospital will be actually focusing on helping us a lot in our health sector, because there's a lot of things that that hospital will be addressing. Things, for example, like surgery, operation of kidney failure and whatnot, and many other surgical problems that a person can be experiencing. So it's a good move by the government, and we really appreciate for us now finally having a specialized hospital where we can have doctors managing critical conditions that people actually go through. We'll be right back for the final story.
I need to secure my business. I need to make investment. How do I do it?
My son is getting older. He will be in secondary school soon. How do I make sure I have enough money for his school fees?
I need to build a house for my children. How do I do it?
The Mpile Unit Trust, managed by African Life Financial Services, an investment product tailored to help you meet your financial goals. We offer different investment vehicles under the Unit Trust to diversify your income and achieve growth on your money. Your future begins by making a decision to invest with us. Fund managers with a track record of over 20 years. Trustworthy, secure and reliable. For further information on different investment vehicles, call us on 211-254841. Alternatively, you may send an email to mpile@aflife.co.zm. We are located at 74 Independence Avenue, Mpile Office Park.
Welcome back. Now for the rest of the stories. Now it's a race to COVID-19 vaccine worldwide. Now, of course, South Africa, if you have not heard about this story, of course, South Africa has put on hold the coronavirus vaccine, AstraZeneca, to hold in terms of rolling out to the public. Now, of course, this comes as a shocker, knowing for a fact that South Africa did receive the AstraZeneca vaccine some few days ago. So now the bigger question now is what's next for South Africa? And just bear in mind with this story, of course, Zambia is also glued to receiving its first bunch. And I hope that scientists will be put in place to make sure that they also do their part in making sure that the vaccine which will be brought in the country is properly tested, so that when it is now taken into the public domain, actually people will not have a different kind of defects, or rather problems, because it's very important that our people are protected at any cost necessary. It's not about only getting the COVID-19 vaccine and bringing it back in this country, but also making sure that we put in measures that are necessary to protect our people. Well, that is for South Africa, but we're going to see a video particularly focusing on this story of South Africa putting the AstraZeneca on hold. Take a look.
I need to secure my business. I need to make investment. How do I do it?
My son is getting older. He will be in secondary school soon. How do I make sure I have enough money for his school fees?
I need to build a house for my children. How do I do it?
The Mpile Unit Trust, managed by African Life Financial Services, an investment product tailored to help you meet your financial goals. We offer different investment vehicles under the Unit Trust to diversify your income and achieve growth on your money. Your future begins by making a decision to invest with us. Fund managers with a track record of over 20 years. Trustworthy, secure and reliable. For further information on different investment vehicles, call us on 211-254841. Alternatively, you may send an email to mpile@afrilife.co.zm. We are located at 74 Independence Avenue, Mpile Office Park.
Welcome back to the news desk with me, Danji Duncan Simmons. And now my apologies for the clip that I did make mention that I'm going to show you on South Africa actually putting AstraZeneca on hold in terms of distributing it to the general public. Now, as I conclude the news, of course, 93% of abortion cases recorded here in Zambia. It begs the question to say, what are we doing wrong? Why are we having this high note of abortion cases? Well, until next time, it is bye-bye from me and the entire production crew. It's been awesome having you on tune into the program. Until next time, it's bye-bye.